5. Continue to relax. Thank your spiritual helpers and spend a few minutes in a calm state. Summary of general points to make. 1. You are not, parentheses, possessed's name. 2. Your body is dead. 3. You joined, parentheses, possessed's name. 4. You are harming yourself and, parentheses, possessed's name. 5. Your loved ones are here. 6. You will be in a perfect body. 7. There is no such thing as hell. 8. You will have a wonderful, peaceful life. 9. Go in peace with my blessings. Transcript. The following is a verbatim transcript of a typical depossession that I use in my office. Sometimes I vary it depending on what I know about the entity. I'll describe these changes later in this chapter. In order to illustrate, I've used an arbitrary name, Mary. Substitute the possessed's name or your own. Read slowly, pausing frequently. Depossession technique. You're here with Mary, but you're not Mary, are you? You're somebody else completely different from her. You have a different name, different personality, different needs and ideas and attitudes. And there was a time when you were living in your own body, long before you joined Mary. See if you can remember back to that time. Think of a pleasant event while in your own body. Long pause. And then something happened to that body and it died. Pause. When your body died, you found yourself alive, just as you had been moments before, but outside of your dead body. At that moment, you should have gone directly into the spirit world. Helpers were there, loved ones who came from the spirit world to escort you into your new life. But instead, you remained in the physical world without your own physical body. Pause. Perhaps you were confused and didn't realize that your body had died, and therefore you didn't understand what was happening to you. Pause. That's where you made a very serious mistake, because at that moment you became a lost soul. Long pause. Do you remember that you tried to talk with people and they didn't answer? Or if you touched them, they didn't seem to notice your touch? And they seemed to look right through you as though they didn't even know you were there. Perhaps you felt very confused, upset and lonely and frustrated, and maybe even angry with them. The reason they didn't respond to you is because you are an invisible spirit. You weren't in a body, and so they couldn't see you. They didn't know you were there. It's not that they were ignoring you, they just didn't realize that you were there. Long pause. And then at one point you joined Mary. And that's when you made an even worse mistake. Because, you see, up until that point, you had just been hurting yourself by keeping yourself from the wonderful life you could have been having in the spirit world with your loved ones and having all of your needs met. But when you joined Mary, you started hurting her. The very least that you've done is to use her energy, causing her to be tired. And you may confuse her because she can't tell your thoughts and wishes and needs from her own. Now, you wouldn't want someone doing this to you. Perhaps you didn't realize that you were harming Mary. Fortunately, we can solve your problem right now, because there are people who love you very, very much who have come from the spirit world to help you today. Pause. These are people you thought you'd never see again when they died, and here they are looking absolutely wonderful, looking even better than the last time you saw them, with great big smiles on their faces. They're so happy to see you because they have been really worried about you. They've been looking for you and searching for you and longing for you, and now they've found you, and they're overjoyed to see you. Pause. And they're reaching their arms out for you. Pause. And now they're embracing you and giving you a warm, wonderful hug. They're holding you. Notice how wonderful that feels. Long pause. They're holding your hand. Pause. I want you to notice how very real and solid their hands are. If you give them a little squeeze, you can even feel the bones underneath the skin. That's because they're in their spirit body. The spirit body is just as real and as solid as a physical body. Long pause. In a few moments, you're going to leave Mary, and when you do, you're going to find yourself in your very own spirit body. Pause. This is your rightful body to use as long as you need to. Pause. And it's a perfect body in every sense of the word. It's a youthful and attractive body, a body that will never age, get wrinkles, or be sick, or have anything wrong with it. If you're a male, you'll find yourself in a male body, strong and healthy. If you're female, you'll be in a lovely, healthy, youthful female body. Long pause. Now, just in case you're afraid of going to hell, I want you to know that there's somebody here from the spirit world, a teacher of religious education, who's going to explain to you that there's nothing to fear because there's no such thing as hell. If you're brought up as a Catholic, this teacher spirit is a nun or a priest. If you're a Protestant, it's a minister of your own denomination. If you're a Jew, this being is a rabbi. Whoever you need is here to explain to you that you have absolutely nothing to fear. Long pause. And now it's time for you to go on to your wonderful new life. Holding the hand of your loved one and, if you like, taking the arm of your helper, know that in a very few moments, you're going to be in that light over there. Pause. Perhaps you can see it in the distance, or maybe it's coming close to you. It's only seconds away, and you're going into it, hand in hand with your loved one. And the second that you do, you'll be in your new perfect body. When you go into that light, you're going to experience something that is beyond words. It's so beautiful and lovely. It's indescribably wonderful. You're going to feel loved and accepted. Long pause. You have a beautiful life waiting for you. You will be with lots of loved ones, family, and friends. You're not going to be alone anymore. The worst is over. You are all right now. The best is yet to come. Long pause. Now it's time for you to go. I'm asking Mary to mentally forgive you for any harm that you've done to her. Pause. And now go with our blessings and our love, and go in the name of the Father and the Son, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Ghost, going in peace and light and love. Make the sign of the cross in the air. Non-Christians may say any prayer or affirmation that's appropriate. During the process, you or the person you are helping may experience a variety of intense emotions, including grief, anger, or fear. But when the possessing spirit finally leaves, there is almost always a deep sense of well-being. Sometimes the person's tense body relaxes with a sigh of relief and a big smile of joy. When you see this happening, or when you feel this happening to you, you can be reasonably sure that a successful depossession has taken place. Many people reported a feeling of something lifting up out of them, usually through the head, rippling up through the body, or leaving through the chest or other areas. Some can actually see the spirits leave hand in hand with spirit loved ones, going toward a brilliant white light. Sometimes there is no clear-cut feeling of the entities departing, but rather an awareness that they did, the person feeling lighter, relieved, or changed in a positive way. Most claim to just know that they are finally freed of the possession. In other cases, there are no indications that at the time that the spirit left, but the change afterward is remarkable. After the depossession has been accomplished, it is important to dismiss the spirits from your mind as much as possible for the next several days. It is possible by dwelling upon them to pull them back to you if they have not gone completely into the light. Anytime you think of them, bless them and reinforce to yourself that they are gone, then deliberately think of something else. This is important when the spirits were people you loved deeply. I have seen cases, especially involving deceased family members, when formerly possessed people inadvertently attracted the spirits back. The chances of your depossession working depend on how willing the entity is to leave. In most cases, it will be successful immediately, no matter how long the possession has lasted. Often it may take repeated depossessions to get the spirit, either a loved one or a stranger, to leave. Sometimes the depossession is partially successful. The spirit leaves but does not go into the spirit world or into the light. He or she just slips out of the body and the aura and stays with the formerly possessed person or roams around the area, only to return later. Then another depossession is called for, with a heavy emphasis on connecting the spirit with his or her loved ones. In such cases, it is necessary to point out to the spirits that they are still in the physical world and that they didn't go where and with whom they should have gone. And that's what caused the problem. Sometimes the entity comes back badly frightened after one of these forays. I have found when this occurs that they are often amenable to leaving at this point. One particularly fascinating case illustrates this phenomenon. I think of it as a last chance syndrome, and you'll see why. Roger came to me because of extreme feelings of inadequacy and inability to make his life work for him. He had a very real and persistent problem a compulsion to frequent prostitutes in local massage parlors on an at least daily basis. After one session, we isolated the cause, a spirit named Bill who was obsessed by sex. A depossession was performed, and he left with his wife, who came for him from the spirit world. Roger looked crestfallen at our next meeting, which was on a Tuesday morning. I had 5.5 days of freedom. I didn't have the slightest desire to see a prostitute. I couldn't believe it. Went away the whole weekend with my girlfriend. Sex was fine and normal, only twice. But after dropping her off Sunday night, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I went straight over to the closest massage parlor. Since Sunday, I've had 14 orgasms with prostitutes and by masturbating. It's worse than ever. The depossession, didn't work. I reassured him that it had worked, but not completely, that our friend, Bill, must have come back. Sure enough, under hypnosis, Bill sheepishly confessed to slipping away from his wife deliberately because he didn't think he would ever have sex again. He told of walking around San Jose, wondering what to do. He made up his mind to rejoin Roger and have one last fling, since he suspected I would talk him into going for good the next time. So he did. That's why I call it the last chance syndrome. I've seen spirit smokers, drinkers, and foodaholics all overdue because they knew they were going soon. Bill did leave willingly with his wife when she told him she wanted to make love with him, saying, "Quality is more important than quantity." One trump card I reserve for last is to guarantee that the possessing spirits may return from the white light if they wish. I stress that they need to go into the light and that they can consider it as a vacation with a round-trip ticket that they can use. I stress that they can try it out for 10 minutes if they like and come back. I get the patient's permission as I'm doing this. It often is the very thing that the possessors, need to overcome their fear of going. I use this infrequently, and it works. If they do return, I convince them that they did not go into the white light and to try again, since they know now that they may return. The second time is about 100% effective. Sometimes one will remain hiding. It often is a parent or grandparent, a family member who feels he is a special case. In these instances, I address and work with these spirits directly, and they eventually leave with their spirit loved ones. Particularly stubborn entities may require the help of a professional. This is a situation in which a medium or metaphysical minister can be of great help. Or if your own minister or priest is knowledgeable and willing to assist you, he or she can be of enormous help, because the spirit may respond to his or her authority as a man or woman of God. Throughout the depossession process, it is very important to act as if you take it seriously. Even if you don't believe it, act as if you do. Later, when it is completed, you can be as skeptical or as analytical as you want. But during the procedure, even if you are not convinced that you or the person you're depossessing has an entity, carry through with the procedure purposefully. There can be no harm in it, and regardless of your opinion, possessing spirits may very well leave. Never take on someone else's possessing entities in order to relieve them of their burdens. As a self-sacrifice, because you will indeed be sacrificing yourself, and the possession can last all your life. You can help without harming yourself. If you can't, get professional help for the possession. Please remember that even I, after thousands of depossessions, am still not 100% convinced of the existence of spirits, but it works.